What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well today. Today we're going to be revisiting a track that's had a little bit of an upgrade as of recently. It is a track called Scrub and Dirt, created by King MX818. Now I'd done a video on this track quite a long time ago when it originally released. However, somewhere along the line in MX Bikes updates, I'm not sure if it was the track as a whole or if it was traction in particular, but the track essentially became unplayable. King's words, not mine. I can't say I played it very recently at all. So not only has he gone and kind of updated it all for us, I think there's a few changes to the main track here and there. He has also added a few jumps over to the back here, which I don't believe were here in the first place. However, there is also a secondary track that we have over here as well, and this is one that I'm very excited to try. So I'm going to try the main track over here, do 2 or 3 laps just to see what it's all about, and then we're going to put most of our attention over on this back track over in the corner, and it looks really cool. Like, it looks like some fun flowy jumps. Hopefully get a little bit sideways, stay nice and low in the air, and should be a fun time. Okie dokie, so here we go. As always, I am on the Fantic 450 since that is my Supercross bike of choice. Now for those of you that haven't seen yet, this version of it has a red front fender and white number plate, because I currently am not the leader of the Aerial Supercross Championship. That was a weird bit of stutter lag right there. So if I ever do get the red plate back, I'll have red plate and white fender, and then we kind of got a little colour back and forth here and there, which I think is quite nice, quite cool. Gives me something different to ride now and then, and gives me more of a reason to try and go and get that red plate back. I believe this video is going to release for you guys on the 20th, which is Friday. So the same day the Aerial Round 2 is. So if you see this before then stop by the stream, check it out. I always do appreciate all the support. I managed to get 3rd in the first round bit also. We're sitting pretty in the championship. Hopefully we can keep that up again. I'd be happy with another top 3, to be honest, even top 5, just nice. Solid, consistent points is what I'm here for. Now, bear in mind, it has been a long time since I played this track. It feels like the jumps have got smaller. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if it's just a new OEM thing, or maybe I've just got a bit better at the game since, but everything seems to be scaled down a little bit, or the jump faces have just been made so we get booted a lot higher up in the air. The first really big jump on the track after the first 180 corner used to be like a huge triple, but it seems quite straightforward to get up and over now. And I mean, a smart idea probably would have been to play or see if I can play the old track first and then do a side-by-side comparison, but it's fine. Well, I'm here for this one. It should be a-okay. It definitely does feel a little bit different. I feel like there's a lot more in the way of trees around the edges and just objects in general. It looks a lot more polished than it was back then, and that's something that I really like seeing from track creators when they make more and more tracks, even if it's going and retouching up an old track before. It's just seeing the progress and the fine details. So this triple here, this used to be one that you had to really stretch out, but a lot easier to get up and over it this time. And then I feel like this right-hander was a bit flatter before. It turned right a little bit sooner than it does now. Now we've got this little step up round to the left, and we jump down into these. I'll just call them rollers rather than whoops. That's going to give me an awful bounce, and we've survived it. That's very shocking. I can't lie, as of recently, I'm sure you guys have seen me on stream and probably in some videos before, mention that I'm really struggling on the outdoors side of things for just the Beta 18 450s in general. I'm not sure what it is. It feels like it's the same across all the bikes, so I'm not too sure if it's just a particular suspension or whatever it may be. But I'm having a lot of issues with the front ends. Now, Supercross is a-okay. Supercross gives me no issues at all. I mean, you get 90-degree turns and bowl turns, and that's about it. I really very rarely have any issues with the front end in that regard. When it goes over to Nationals, especially in a roaded Nationals track, there's something about the way it handles over the bumps and rutted corners, and especially bumpy corners, or corners that aren't smooth turns, if that makes sense. So instead of just having a 90 or a 180 that's predictable, you've got a rut that maybe has a bit of a hook in it. It's a little bit sharper towards the end of the corner. I'm really having a hard time getting the bike turned around in it smoothly. I just seem to kind of swap side to side and then eventually fall on the floor and then try pulling away again and getting more kinds of slow physics, and I'm not too sure what to go about changing, if I'm completely honest. I run all exactly the same settings as I used to on the Beta 17 side. I don't think I've heard of anyone really messing about with their advanced, what is this? This is an MX simulator. Messing about with their steering settings too much to accommodate for the new bikes. I know that the OEM team have got a feedback channel in the MX Bikes Discord, so I'm not sure if they're planning on changing anything in the near future at all, and if I'm honest, I've not actually gone through the effort of going through there and having a read or even leaving my own feedback, which I probably should do at some point. Because I remember when I was testing the Yamaha 125 out, and it did feel, it felt a little bit heavier, it felt a lot more planted, but because it's still a light bike in general, I didn't really have any issues getting it around corners at all. So it might even just be a 450 thing. I very rarely seem to struggle on the 250s. I think the 250s in the Beta 18 pack are incredibly overpowered. I would go as far to say that it's easier to go faster on some tracks than it is on the 450s, just from how much grip they have, because of how they deliver the power as well as how light they are. They turn a lot sharper too, and I'm not sure what could be done to kind of nerf them in a way. I mean, I'm sure everyone that rides the 250s love how they are right now. I'm sure if they did get nerfed, people would probably be quite upset. But maybe if it's a case of just reducing the power ever so slightly. I know that they're made to real life characteristics and specifications, but I feel like right now, I mean, I'd rather ride 250 right now any day of the week. I find them a lot more fun. I know it's not an opinion that I share myself solely. I know there's a few other people that have mentioned that as well, Rum being one of them people in particular, and I'm not sure what it is. I'm always going to like 450s on Supercross. That's always going to have a special place in my heart. I am a avid Supercross fan on this game, and all motocross games in general, to be fair. I've always preferred the indoors and the outdoors. But yeah, really struggling with the 450s outside, and I'm not one to have like a suspension for every single like kind of track or surface, whatever it may be. Maybe that's something that I might need to start getting into and looking at changing things here and there. Right now I've just got my one suspension that I have for Supercross, and that is literally it. I just copy and paste that across on everything. But a little bit of a tangent there. Let's go across here. So this is kind of the outback track, so to speak. This is off the main track to the side here. I've never been to Scrub and Dirt in my life. I've never seen any GoPros of Scrub and Dirt. It is a real track for those of you that were unaware. No idea where it's located either. I probably should have done a little bit of homework before I started recording, but you know what? L YouTuber moment, didn't do my homework, I do apologise. I'm sure those of you in the comments will gladly let me and everyone else watching know whereabouts this track is located, and if King MX has done a good job of it as well. That's always the most important thing. I know that now myself having Flackwell Heath Motocross Park in game is really exciting for me, getting to ride another track that I've ridden myself personally. I know there's a special sort of feeling when you play a track that you've played before or ridden before but play in game. It's really nice, really refreshing, and the scaling of this one is very weird. It's a very wide track, but the jumps seem fairly on the small side. I really do think that this 450 might have been a bit overkill. I'm a little bit hesitant at the moment to just kind of be mismatching and changing bikes all over the place, more so engine size than brand, just because I really am trying to get my head around this 450 more, so when it comes time to do those aerial races, I'm just a lot more comfortable overall, because I think I got this. What am I doing here? Hang on, let's get on track. So in that Anaheim 1 race, I got the second fastest lap in the main event, which I was super happy with, and even that was by less than a tenth, just behind Hurls. What I wasn't happy with is the inconsistency of my riding, because I think I finished about 30 or 40. I think it was pushing 40 seconds behind the lead. So on one hand I could say, oh, P3 is actually really good, especially for Anaheim 1, getting some nice good points on the board at the start of the season. Being 40 seconds behind is not the best when it comes to building confidence, so I do want to work on that consistency. I think a lot of it comes down to me not slowing down enough when the rough comes in, because the rough right now, especially with the Beta 18C road that got added, the tracks get super deep. You know, the ruts are very deep, and on the EU side of things now, we've now got a respawn delay that's been added. So depending on the speed of your crash, you then can't respawn for X amount of time. If I have like a little top over in the corner, let's say I just go over this berm, tuck the front end just like that, I'll get about 4-ish seconds. If I crash faster than that, it can go up, and I think I saw someone say they had like a 13-second respawn delay, which in my opinion is a little bit excessive, but that is not a setting that can be changed on this server side. That is all behind the scenes that Perboso's done to the best of my knowledge, so maybe you might need to tweak that a little bit. It definitely makes you ride a lot more careful, especially on lap 1. I think in EU, the 450 main event, the start was probably one of the cleanest starts I've ever seen. Same with the 450 heat race that I was in. That's super clean. No one kind of went stupid at all. I got a little bit unlucky. I got the whole shot, but then was going too fast to properly stop for the corner on the inside, so I ran wide off the track, and then I got tagged by someone as I rejoined and I went down. You know, it was just one of them netcode things. They didn't even hit me on their screen. I'm pretty sure it was Aiden, and I spoke to him as soon as the race was over, and yeah, he said he didn't hit me on his. And I've had some weird moments like that recently with the old netcode. I think it does tend to be more between the American players than the European players. I get a lot better ping to the European players, obviously, but it is what it is. So, I mean, yeah, whenever you're seeing this, I might be lining up for round 2, which is going to be at San Diego for us. We're playing on track maps now, which I think is really, really cool. But I need to stop talking about Aerial so much. I feel like I do it a little bit too often. Let's give King MX a little bit of credit on his track right here. I really feel like I'm sucking cheeks right now. I don't think I'm doing this much justice whatsoever. I can't for the life of me remember where the track's going. This is a triple, and I can tell you that 100% 450 around here, way too much. Get your eyes on a 250, or wait for the 2-strokes to come out towards the end of April and get on a 125 or any 2-stroke. You'll have a lot more fun. Like jumps like this right here, I feel like they could be big jumps, but obviously this is tailored to replicating our IRL track, so it can't kind of do his own thing and make what would work in MX bikes rather than what it is in real life. I want to say, in terms of scaling and stuff, I feel like the main track is a little bit better. This one definitely feels a lot wider, a lot more open, like super wide. If I go in third person, like how many bikes do you reckon we could fit in this one corner? Like a good 10 plus. So that is crazy wide, but a lot of people like that, and I always have to remind myself when I'm playing these tracks and when I'm going through them and giving like constructive criticism here and there, I have to remember that not everybody likes the sort of tracks that I like. And you guys know that I'm more for the realistic scaling, just in terms of rough and corners and jump size and everything. I like it to be as realistic as possible. I do forget that there are newer people to the game that would very well benefit from a track like this, as well as people that just play the game a lot more casually, that just want to hop on now and then, have a nice easy track to rail around. And honestly, I think that if I spent another probably 10 or so laps working my way around here, I'd probably get an idea of how big the jump scaling is and where I need to be shutting off so I can actually downside things. As you can see, with the Beta 18 OEMs, especially the 450s, and I think it's partially a Fantic thing too. I've seen a few people mention this about the Fantic. The front end is pretty wild. I'm not sure what's causing it, but any tiny case or over jump, I just seem to wobble all over the place, and the front end is just not very reliable. It's probably the best way of wording it. So it's something on my behalf. It's not just, it's nothing to do with the track at all. It is purely a skill issue and setup issue. I'll find something that works eventually. Well, I need to find something that works, otherwise I may as well just do the 250 MX Bikes GP Championship when that rolls around, which I will also be doing NA 250 for the East Coast, so keep that in your books. I remembered that was a scrub jump this time. Down to this inside, nice and smoothly. Double round here again, and then this one's very short, isn't it? Yep, okie dokie, and another short one. Let's go in the middle right here. Inside looks a bit on the sharp side. Oh, I've jumped too far again. Land it, yes. Down the hill, right, nice and slowly, nice and easy. Roll on the throttle, see the bike kind of jumping around underneath me. Don't go over the bars, oh my goodness. Come on, let's just get to the finish line. Get to the finish line. Why am I in third gear? Why have I got two gear indicators at the bottom right of my screen as well? I definitely only need one. Maybe I should turn the in-game one off as well. I was running the in-game one for a while, but then when it comes to starts on this game right now, I was really struggling on what technique I should be using. So I'm kind of half throttling it and clutching it, and it seems to give me a decent jump, but it's very hard to consistently get the same amount of throttle, especially when you've got 20 other guys around you all revving their bikes. It can be difficult to hear. So what I've done for a visual thing is, with the Max HUD one, you can see that it goes from black to orange to red. I find that if I'm just in the orange, it gives me a pretty good idea of how much power I need. So that's what I'm using as my indicator at the moment, so I should probably turn the actual in-game one off. I'm surprised that Poso hasn't kind of gone through any effort of upgrading the in-game HUD right now, but I suppose he's probably not bothered since everyone runs Max HUD anyway. If you don't run Max HUD, I've just realised that I also haven't got a setup on. So yeah, that's probably a reason why I'm struggling. I've just seen that I've got 4 litres of fuel, I'm pretty sure the setup that I usually run starts off on 4 litres of fuel. Can I? Garage. Oh, I'm such an idiot. So I've got different tyres on than usual, different... Oh, okay, you know what? I'm not even going to bother. I'm going to call that video there. That's incredibly frustrating. Overall, the main track, solid as always, really, really good, really, really enjoyable. The backyard track isn't something that I could see myself personally riding very, very often just due to the scaling. It's very, very large and oversized, but I know some of you guys absolutely love that sort of thing, so 100% go and give it a go and let me know what you think. I'm not going to slide this. No. Okay, that'll do it from me. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed, and as always, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you're up to, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.